It was a knockout finish to an exciting night of fights from Las Vegas. Gervonta Davis defended his WBA lightweight title against Frank Martin in the main event with a highlight reel knockout in the 8th round. Davis improves to 30-0 with 28 wins by knockout. Martin falls to 18-1, suffering the first defeat of his career. Davis hadn't fought since April of last year and had a typically slow start, as Martin won the majority of the rounds in the first half of the fight, countering well off of Davis's pressure. Davis began to heat up in the middle rounds, and in round 8, he caught Martin against the ropes with a big uppercut, dazing his opponent. Martin dropped his guard, and Davis followed the uppercut with a huge left hook that sent Martin down for the count. With a lightweight title in hand, Davis has plenty of options for his next fight. Lightweight champions Shakur Stevenson and Vasily Lomachenko will be in consideration for a title unification, while a rematch against 140-pound champion Isaac Cruz is in the mix as well. Most importantly, I want to just get back to the drawing board, Davis said after the win. Get back in the gym and just stay focused. I felt I was a little rusty, but all those guys are on my radar. In the co-main event, David Benavidez dominated former 175-pound champion Oleksandr Gvozdyk to win the interim WBC title by unanimous decision. Benavidez moved up to the light heavyweight division after repeatedly being passed over for a fight against undisputed 168-pound champion Canelo Alvarez. Benavidez looked comfortable at the new weight, cruising past Gvozdyk easily on the cards to secure mandatory challenger status for the winner of Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev's undisputed fight in October. It was a fun night of fights that saw Tank Davis and David Benavidez each impress in dominant wins as the MGM Grand Garden Arena successfully hosted its 100th championship boxing card on Saturday. Check out live updates from throughout the card below. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin fight result. Gervonta Davis defeated Frank Martin by 8th round knockout, defending his WBA lightweight title. Gervonta Tank Davis vs. Frank Martin fight live updates. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin. Round 8, Tank threw over 30 punches for the first time in round 7, landing some real good shots. Martin lands some solid shots, while combination punching in the opening minute. Tank chopping down and landing some good shots on Martin in the corner. Martin goes down. Martin counted out after a huge shot sends him down, and Tank Davis takes it by KO in round 8. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin. Round 7. Martin active with some combinations to start the round. Tank lands a big overhand right a minute in and looks to pile on the pressure. Martin does well to avoid further damage. Tank continues to find success when he can get Martin backed against the ropes, teeing off on him until Martin escapes. Tank dominant this round, certainly his best of the fight, pushing Martin back and landing often. Tank takes that round, maybe his first of the fight. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin. Round 6. Fight going as expected so far. Martin has banged potentially every round so far, being the more active fighter. Tank continues to walk him down though. Tank gets Martin into the corner and lands a solid shot or two, but Martin quickly moves out of danger. Tank starting to find more success off his pressure, particularly when he gets Martin in the corner, his best round of the fight so far. Closest round of the fight. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin. Round 5. Tank repeatedly flashing his jab at Martin to start the round. Martin showing good defense to avoid a follow-up combination. Tank lands a solid shot on Martin in the corner, but Martin manages to avoid taking more damage with his feet. Martin is outlanding Tank through 5, but Tank is landing his shots at a higher clip. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin. Round 4. Martin moving well, making life difficult for Tank, landing some solid shots in the opening minute. Tank lands well to the body midway through. Martin is quick to tie up when Tank does land. Martin the more active fighter, but his combinations haven't been able to push Tank back yet, although they are landing. Tank finishes the round with a strong connect. Closer round, but still likely goes to Martin. Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin. Round 3. Tank is stalking Martin, looking for an opening, but Martin is moving well. Tank's pressure is translating to some connects, but nothing to faze Martin. Martin is spending a lot of this round in the corner, but he's countering well to evade danger. Martin connects with a nice combination in the final 30 seconds, causing Tank to tie up. Martin starting strong, but Tank seems to be building momentum. Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. Round 2. Martin using his jab as a rangefinder thus far, trying to quell the pressure of Tank in the opening minute. Martin landing some shots set up by his jab, but nothing that's affecting Tank. Tank is pushing Martin back, not throwing an awful lot, but the threat of a big shot is looming. Solid round for Martin fighting on the back foot. Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. Round 1. Tank returns from a 14-month layoff tonight as he defends his WBA lightweight title for the first time since being elevated from WBA regular champion. It is Martin's first world title bout. Tank is generally a slow starter. Early rounds could be a good opportunity for Martin to bank some rounds. Martin starts well, landing a few solid shots. Tank throwing some shots, but none with real intention. Martin takes the opener. David Benavidez defeats Oleksandr Gvozdyk for interim title. David Benavidez defeated former world champion Oleksandr Gvozdyk by unanimous decision in Saturday's co-main event to win the interim WBC light heavyweight title. It was Benavidez's first fight at 175 pounds since moving up from super middleweight after repeatedly trying in vain to secure a fight against undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez. The judges' scorecards were 116, 112, 117, 111, 119, 109 all for Benavidez. He improves to 29-0 while Gvozdyk falls to 20-2. Benavidez started the fight strong, dominating the opening half of the fight with his pressure overwhelming Gvozdyk. In the second half, he still looked comfortable, but seemed to allow slightly more pressure from Gvozdyk as he took his foot off the gas. In the end, it was a comfortable outing at light heavyweight for Benavidez, who now sits as a mandatory challenger to the winner of October's undisputed fight between Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. He remains mandatory challenger to Canelo at 168 pounds, so it's safe to say Benavidez has some solid options going forward. After the fight, he said he hopes to get a shot against Canelo next, but he plans on fighting at both super middleweight and light heavyweight. Benavidez also said he tore a ligament in his right hand before the fight, but decided to push through.